everybody.
Hi, guys. Well, from beautiful Salt Lake City, Utah.
It's Thank God I'm Atheist,
The podcast.
I'm Frank Feldman.
And I'm Dan Beecher.
And coming up today, massive story from Mormon Leaks that we're going to be getting to.
Yeah.
We've been a little Mormon heavy lately.
People love it.
It's what's
you
local.
guys know you love the Mormons.
It's what we know.
Yeah.
Anyway, massive amount of holdings that the LDS Church has that has been reported
They're
on.
rich, bitch!
So we're going to get into that because there's always been all this speculation, right?
Yeah.
Like, how much money does the Mormon Church really have? Everybody knows they have a lot.
Yeah,
they've been secretive about it. And
as with all of the U.S. churches, they don't have to report how much money they have.
right.
Unlike all the other 501c3 nonprofit organizations in the country
Right.
that have to report every dime.
Right. So
Yeah,
so it's
there's some new info coming to light.
yeah. It doesn't look great for them. But anyway,
It looks great for them. Are you kidding me? Looks really, really like
if all you care about is amassing a great fortune.
yeah.
But anyway, we'll get
doing
into all the
great.
details. Well, actually, Dan,
Yeah.
before we get going, we need to talk about your face.
My face. This handsome mug? Why, yes, we should talk about it. Yeah, well, no, what we should talk about is how one keeps one's face in check, in line, looking good, high and tight,
Yeah.
whatever.
Sure.
All the things. Yeah, we're talking about Harrys.com, which is how you get your razors, your, keep the hair in line.
Is that what they're for?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
I suppose most of our listeners are smart enough to know what a razor is.
Yeah.
Harry's has their own manufacturing in Germany.
Yeah. They bought a plant.
Yeah, they got the whole thing going. So what you get if you go to harrys.com/TGIA, and if you haven't done this and you're a man who shaves, and all men should, then you need to do it because literally it's no skin off your nose. It's just hair off your face. You go to harrys.com/TGIA. They'll send you just pay a small amount for shipping, and then they send you a free razor cartridge with the 5 blades, 5 precision engineered awesome blades.
Right.
Glide over your face like butter. An ergonomic handle. Again, the best handle we've ever used.
Absolutely. Very comfy.
Yeah, it's just great.
Surprising.
You get what else do you get? You get the travel kit thing.
Protects your fingers when you reach into your little ditty bag.
Right.
Yep.
And you get some great shave gel.
Yeah. Which smells fantastic.
And works great.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
So
Look, we're not trying to foist anything on you that you don't want, but you have to shave. You might as well give them a try. It's free. You help us out. Everybody goes home happy.
yeah. harrys.com/TGIA.
There you go.
Perfect.
All right. Tell us a story.
All right. Well, we were just talking about religious folk, right, who amass fortunes or alluding to it.
Yeah.
Well, here's a dude, televangelist down in Louisiana.
Louisiana.
Right? Jesse Duplantis.
Oh,
Duplantis.
that's a good name.
He currently owns 3 private jets.
Right.
2 he's loaning out to other evangelists who
that's
have places to be.
Very nice of him.
He's using the 3rd, the largest,
Of course.
which he feels like he has outgrown. And the good Lord got in touch with him and says, told him that he needed to purchase a new one. Right?
Sure.
Yeah. He says, God said to him, he said, okay, this is a quote from Jesse. God said, I want you to believe me for a Falcon 7X. I looked this plane up. We'll get to the details in a second. And the first thing I thought was, how am I going to pay for it? And a great statement that he told me in 1978 flooded into my mind. And he said, Jesse, I didn't ask you to pay for it. I asked you to believe for it. All right.
Wait a minute. He's been reading The Secret.
Yeah.
He's been reading The Secret. He's going to manifest this Falcon.
Oh, yeah. But so in the Falcon 7X, right, is can be configured to see up to 19 people.
Okay.
There's an optional onboard shower that you can have installed.
You don't want to land stinky.
Like, I mean, just look at a picture of that plane. That's a legit jet.
It's pretty.
It's has 14 side windows. I believe the article said. Like, this is a big. This is a business jet. This is an
and let me tell you something.
Jet,
He's not going to be configuring that thing for 20 people. He's going to be configuring that thing for one guy. And
the Lord
and his personal chef
and the Lord. He said, I really believe that if Jesus was physically on the earth today, he wouldn't be riding a donkey. Think about it for a minute. He'd be in an airplane preaching the gospel all over the world.
Let me tell you something. If there's one thing we know for sure about Jesus, it's that he was into flashy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he always was preaching. Every time he preached, it was about, hey, man, how's your ride looking?
Uh-huh.
How you rolling in that whip?
Right.
You got to roll in style.
Right. There was nothing about humility in his message.
No.
There was no anger.
He never said that wealth was bad.
No.
Or anything like that. It's not like he would have said that.
Never said that.
He
never would say that.
No.
Ever. No,
absolutely not. That would imply that somehow everything about American preachers is bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Let's see. Was there anything else in here?
You can't argue with the man's logic. All I'm going to say is...
Yeah, so anyway,
flying.
He's and what's amazing about this guy is how brazen he is, right? This is prosperity gospel at its finest.
Oh, yeah.
He is preaching to his viewers and listeners to give him money so he can have more flashy wealth that he's just going to show off to the world that he legitimately also can't afford. He's having to raise every last penny, right, to buy this thing.
Well, what I'm saying is he probably can afford it. He just doesn't want to pay for it. Why would he pay for something?
Yeah, fair enough.
When someone else will pay for it for him.
Right.
You know, Jesus also wants me to have, a Tesla P100D. So pony up, people.
But I mean, like, here's a picture of him standing next to a framed picture of him with his 3 jets, right? It's a big gold frame, and he's showing off. He's pointing at it. Like, this is how he shows to his followers that he has the Lord's favor.
Yeah.
And his message is, you, if you believe hard enough, can have all the same things. Well, no, you can't.
Right. Well, no, his real message is...
have dupes following you.
Right.
Who are just going to give you a bunch of fucking money.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing that this shit works. It is a testament to human fallibility that this shit works on people's brains. That, like, people hear his message and go, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Let's get him that plane.
Yeah.
Let's get him that plane.
Because the good Lord.
Because the good Lord. Because Jesus. Well, I'm going to talk about a moment that has confused and baffled me, but also very much pleased me. And this is to do with the Southwestern Baptist Theological Seminary in Fort Worth.
Okay.
Which has decided... Now, they had the former president of this theological seminary, one Mr. Page Patterson, a beloved figure.
Is he really?
And retiring, and they were giving him, he was going to have this lovely retirement package. They had offered to let him live in their little place for free forever, and he was going to have the title of President Emeritus. And just a really cush retirement.
Wow.
For this guy.
Okay.
They've stripped him of all of that.
Why would they do that?
based on some harrowing sort of #MeToo type things. Not about him. Well, a couple of the things are about him, but the thing that really got him was him actually asking a rape victim to forgive her rapist and to not press charges.
Oh my God.
It's a thing. It's a thing that happened back in 2003, and apparently they actually followed through on this and just stripped him of all of these things, based largely on that. Now there were other accusations about him advising a woman to stay with her abusive husband.
Oh dear God.
Objectifying the body of a 16-year-old girl, that sort of thing. But look, here's why I chose this story. These people, this organization, is sending the right message. They're actually doing something good.
Yeah.
And right.
They responded correctly.
They saw a situation and they chose to to not stand behind this guy.
Wow.
Which to me is a Jesus miracle. The fact that
good Lord got in his plane and went to
and flew to Fort Worth to say
and said, Paige,
you guys, you can't do this. You can't. Yeah.
You're out of here. Do you know that nice little house in the back? It's not for you.
That's
anymore.
not yours.
Not for you.
I'm guessing
we don't know what you're going to do with yourself.
I'm guessing he'll be fine.
That's not really our concern anymore.
Right.
You shouldn't have protected those people.
But
wow,
I mean, we're
not
talking about a guy who himself was accused of rape,
right,
or even molestation or anything like that.
Correct.
He just behaved improperly as an administrator and leader.
Right.
And it took them some years to believe it and figure it all out, but they actually once they did, they actually took appropriate action.
Yeah.
So now I don't know what to think about the world.
Well, so you said it's a Bible school?
It is a theological seminary, the Southwestern Baptist Theological Seminary.
So it's Baptist. Are they Southern Baptist?
Southwestern Baptist, I assume so.
Oh, so it's not the Southwestern sort of part of the name.
No, it
Baptist,
is. It is.
Blah, blah.
But I assume that. Oh yeah, they're not.
They're not saying what they're...
Yeah, this says, Southern Baptist Convention.
Okay, Southern Baptist Convention.
Yeah,
I read an article this week that they are in the throes of figuring this whole thing out.
Of putting their money where their mouth is. If they do...
That this is a day... That they're seeing it as almost a day of reckoning, and that they're trying to... that in essence, this one article I read, a little hyperbole here, but they were... this is God's #MeToo is God's judgment on their administration of their whole realm.
Yeah,
because they're starting to come. They're starting to realize how bad it actually is amongst their own ranks. So that's great. They did the right thing. Good on them.
Good for them.
Can only encourage more of that.
I wouldn't have expected this for another 10 to 15 years when they finally caught up with the rest of the world.
Well, Dan, I want to take us down to Australia.
Oh, yes.
Where a story has come out about... So apparently in Australia, they have sort of the state-sanctioned school chaplain program. In the public schools, it sounds like. It doesn't sound like the federal government is actually paying for it, but they allow it, and they sort of support it. There's a coalition that has put forward $250 million in this year's budget to run the school chaplaincy program. They have chaplains in about 3,000 schools. But some people are starting to ask questions and wonder about, is this such a good program? Especially in light of this story, brought forward by Senator Sarah Hanson Young during a it sounded like it was some sort of like government hearing on the
Sure.
issue, or some sort of committee meeting maybe on the issue.
Sure.
So she brings forward the story of one of the school chaplains telling an anorexic student that she was just hungering for the word of God. That's what you're hungry for.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why you're starving yourself. Is you
Right.
need the Lord
Right.
to fill you up.
You don't need food. You just need Jesus. That's the wrong accent for this story.
A little, but
Sounded
no,
fun.
but also the right accent at the same time. It sort of sums up the how lame. Yeah, so that she used that as an example. Apparently, there have
God.
been other just. They're officially not supposed to proselytize, but obviously this is crossing that line by promoting God.
Well, yeah, I mean,
openly.
I feel like saying that they're officially not supposed to proselytize doesn't matter when you've got a pastor
yeah.
there. The
Right.
presence of a pastor is proselytization. I can't say that
I would
word,
feel the same, right? Yeah, I wouldn't even question that.
but- yeah.
And yeah, God, I wish I could. Where were some of these other examples? Yeah, I guess it doesn't even really matter too much. Senator Hanson Young, during the meeting, she sought a guarantee that chaplains who speak in tongues and practice exorcism for healing are not being employed in the schools.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, there's a fundamental conflict, which is that these chaplains believe in hoodoo that the rest of the school doesn't. You know, that there are lots of students and teachers who don't believe in the same hoodoo as
Yeah.
these guys.
Yeah.
So, like, how about have somebody who can sort of be helpful to everybody?
Yeah, and apparently also Grace Communion International is one of the chaplain providers.
Right.
And they, as an organization, supports gay conversion therapy.
Oh, good.
So this is boy, our Australian listeners, like,
Come on, Aussies.
what's going on?
Get your act together. Get those
Get them
those
out of there.
pastors out of your schools.
Dear God.
That's no good.
Not at all.
Well, I'm going to take us to Ireland, the Emerald Isle,
Oh yeah.
land of no snakes.
Something big happened there this week.
Yeah. So they had the big referendum. Now they had their 8th Amendment to their constitution, which was as it was written, is currently written technically, I guess, protects the lives of both a mother and an unborn child equally, or something.
In the Constitution.
In the Constitution.
Wow.
So Ireland had and this is by no means the first time, but this is they had a referendum on that amendment, and this is the first time that they've actually voted to remove it. It is
Woohoo!
out of here.
Good going.
By a significant margin. It was like 2/3
Well done,
voted
Ireland.
to overturn the referendum or
Well
the
done.
amendment. I actually looked up some interesting stuff about kind of how, because the first time they tried to do this was in 1983,
Right.
and of course the churches were just like no, and I don't know if you know much about Irish history. Church is a little bit important. And which church you belong to might mean something or might not mean something. There may have been a little bit of a kerfuffle for a few years to do with that and to do with politics. Anyway, in Ireland, in the country of Ireland, it is still a majority Catholic country.
Oh, yeah.
And as we know, the Catholic Church is foursquare against abortion.
Yeah.
However, so I was like, how could this have happened? I mean, surely the Catholic Church must have been screaming about this throughout the whole thing. Oh, no. Au contraire. The Association of Catholic Priests basically said that they want that letting anti-abortion campaigners speak during masses would be, quote, inappropriate and insensitive.
Oh, wow.
They said, as leadership of an... Okay, this quote blows my goddamn mind.
Okay.
This whole episode is just Dan's mind being blown by people.
Okay.
Quote, as leadership of an organization made up of men who are unmarried and without children of our own, we are not best placed to be dogmatic on the issue.
What? But you have in the past.
I mean, you're right.
What, like,
but when has that
what
ever
changed?
stopped you?
Yeah, what changed since last week?
Right.
Like,
in what world did you guys figure that out? Huh? I'm just like, my mind is blown.
oh, wow.
And it wasn't just them. The Presbyterian Church was saying, they said that in order to save as many lives as possible, the Eighth Amendment should be retained. But then they said, in reality, people must vote according to their conscience. We do not prescribe to people how they should vote. And then...
How do we get some of this over here?
And then the Methodist Church said, they said the Methodist Church would never dare to tell members how to vote. We believe in freedom of conscience, but we do feel we have a role. This was Dr. Fergus O'Farrell. Anyway, it's just like, I think the churches must see the writing on the wall and just knew that if they said anything, everyone would just leave.
Run out of the country?
I don't know. But, man.
Wow.
That's a far cry from if an American church said that.
Well, some do. Some do say that.
I guess.
Don't lump all of them onto the conservative right.
I'm not saying conservative right. I'm saying American churches take stands and yell about them. I'm saying the Unitarian Church does the same thing on the other side.
Well, that's the UUs.
All I'm saying is when a group of Catholic priests goes, look, we're a bunch of men. What do we know about this? We shouldn't be able to. We're not the ones to talk to about this. Something either very wrong or very right has happened in the world, and I don't know which. So there you go.
Well, isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Well, here's a group of Catholics, Dan.
Oh, cool.
On this side of the pond.
Okay.
Who, well, yeah, it's kind of the opposite story.
Okay.
Catholic high school.
Okay.
It's time for graduation.
It's always a good start.
They have their valedictorian who wanted to give his valedictorian, his little speech.
Sure. That's what they
his
do.
little talk at graduation.
There's two reasons you become valedictorian. One, so it looks good when you're applying for colleges, and the other to give a speech at the graduation.
Give a speech. The higher ups at the school said, no way. You, sir, will not be giving that speech because it is too political.
Oh.
He was told this, I believe, just hours before, maybe the day before graduation. Also, there was another. The class president was also denied a chance to speak on the same grounds. She was going to get up and say something. So, undeterred, he gets a megaphone, stands outside the auditorium or the graduation venue, wherever it was, and starts his speech. And he says, the young people will win because we're finished being complacent. All right.
Clearly he's not being complacent.
There's a misguided notion that wisdom is directly proportional to age, but we're disproving that daily. Sometimes the wisest are the youngest in our lives, the ones who haven't been desensitized to the atrocities of our world. Therefore, we young people must be the educators. The young people must be willing to speak candidly about issues, and we mustn't tremble in the face of the institutions that try to silence us.
Okay, what's his issue?
He was going to talk about he was only going to mention and sort of praise the students at was it Parkland?
Oh, okay. It's the gun issue.
It's the gun issue.
All right.
Right. Now Christian Bales is his name.
Okay.
A young gay man.
Not to be confused. Oh.
He's been openly gay
At a Catholic high school?
At the Catholic high school,
All right.
and the school has generally been supportive, according to this article.
Okay.
However, his mom received a call from the principal. This was, let me get to that. The principal called her last week to remind her that that officials from the diocese would want Bales to dress in traditional men's clothing and to refrain from wearing makeup or hairpins.
What?
This article didn't have a picture of the kid, but he doesn't. I mean, who knows what he's what he's worn to school? But I doubt it.
You know,
I doubt that a Catholic high school.
They probably have uniforms and all sorts of codes of what he would like. Wow, they were worried about this kid.
Yeah, they were really bothered. And apparently, so one of the grounds that the school used to say that he couldn't give his speech was because he gave it in after the deadline. And his mom is just like, there was no deadline. They gave him no deadline.
You're lying.
This is an absolute lie.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
And that's such an easy, like, yeah, it's political, but like a kid coming out against school shootings.
Wow. Where's the controversy?
So shocking. What a bold stance to take, kiddo.
I don't want to be shot while in high school.
Yeah. Well, me too.
Well, he's out of high school now.
Yeah.
Now he gets to worry about being shot in college.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those happen too.
But it's so different. It's so different. Usually you just watch out for the clock tower and you're fine. All right. I'm going to take us to San Angelo, Texas, which if you don't know where San Angelo is, you could be forgiven. Look for the word nowhere on a map, and it's in the middle.
Okay.
My sister-in-law and brother-in-law used to live in San Angelo because he was in the Air Force.
Oh.
And apparently that's all there is there. That and bleakness. An Air Force base and sorrow are what are in San Angelo, Texas. But also what was in San Angelo fairly recently was what was his name? John Guandolo, who was giving law enforcement officers he was taking them to school. He was giving them a police training. He's an ex-FBI agent now living near Dallas, and he needs to train the law enforcement because, let me tell you something, the Muslims are coming. Oh. And he is going to help these police officers know the real truth behind Islam. And,
good.
And the Muslims.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Basically, this day-long course, which, by the way, has not been endorsed by the Texas Commission on Law Enforcement, and in fact was decidedly not accredited by them.
Oh, okay.
Basically paints the entire religion of Islam as the Muslim Brotherhood or as ISIS, essentially.
It's not?
No. In point of fact, that's the minority of well, then maybe you'll agree with him. 27 students in all, mostly police officers and sheriff's deputies, met in a San Angelo Baptist church, where he had this wonderful teaching style where he would ask questions, this sort of call and response thing, where he would say, "Why is it okay for 60-year-old Muslim men to marry 6-year-old girls?"
Jesus.
And all of the deputies would dutifully reply, "Because Muhammad did it." Why is it okay for Muslims to torture? Because Muhammad did it.
Wow. I like his style. That'd be a fun class. He sounds like a fun instructor.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Basically, he was saying that all of Islam is terrorist.
So what does this have to do with law enforcement? Is it just be on the lookout for anyone Muslim and arrest them? Like,
basically, he said, here's a quote: "We have probable cause right now to get into, if not thousands, at least hundreds of Islamic centers in the U.S."
oh my goodness.
So the question is, why aren't we? I would argue it's because we don't have the will to do it. He said 75 to 80% of Islamic centers are Muslim Brotherhood fronts aimed at undermining the United States. I put to him, how is that any different from 75 to 80% of Christian churches that want to get prayer back into schools? Those are aimed at undermining the United States too.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? He's the one that's doing the Sharia law.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, he basically wants police officers to harass and arrest anybody that they see with a beard who doesn't have,
I've got a beard.
Brown face, brown skin, and a beard, probably with no mustache. If they've got that, then you know they're bad.
Oh, right.
If their beard is dyed with henna, then you know.
Right.
That's a good sign. Basically, these are good ways of knowing that that the men you're looking at want to ruin America.
Yeah. They want, yeah. Everyone wants to ruin America. That's the amazing thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who doesn't want to ruin America?
Roseanne Barr. That isn't. Let's not. Go
she already ruined America.
Well, she ruined her own show. That's for sure.
Well, all right.
Well,
okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to comment on anything you've heard so far, please do so. You can write to us, podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or you could call and leave us a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Yeah, go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist, and click that like button.
And while you're there, search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge and request to join. It is a closed group, but we'll let you in.
Yep.
All right, Dan.
Yes, sir.
It is time for us to check in on what the religious right has to say.
Yeah,
crackpots on the right.
Here's the thing. We just did a show over on my other show, The How to Heretic, where we discussed with our friend Professor Jim Godwin's Law, which is the notion that in any online discussion, especially, but in any sufficiently long political debate, the longer it goes, the chances of invoking Nazism and Hitler go to 100%. This one just decides to go with it from the beginning.
Right. So let's have a listen.
Yeah.
They have rewritten the narrative that gives full license for the intelligence agencies to lie and distort the truth in an attempt to demonize Christians, conservatives, and anybody that would stand up for the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. This is propaganda, and your audience needs to understand and really, step up and sharpen it up. The reason Hitler was able to do what he did in Nazi Germany, the reason he got away with what he did, is his propaganda experts. They created false narratives, starting with the Jews. And what they used was the media to demonize the Jews, just like the media is demonizing Christians and Catholics and people who are patriots and believe in America. The media is demonizing them. People who believe in Bible prophecy and conservatism, the media is demonizing them as anti-government extremist crazies, which is not at all who they are. It's a deliberate lie and falsehood. This is exactly what Adolf Hitler did. It was a process of demonization and ridicule of the Jewish people, which was designed to incrementally set up such a feeling of mass hostility against the Jews that the game plan was there would be little resistance when they came to take away the Jews and put them in concentration camps and burn them alive and slaughter them. First, they demonized them and they ridiculed them. So demonization and ridicule and mockery is an essential component in a mind control brainwashing process that gives you the cultural license to destroy, kill your enemies simply because they may believe in the Constitution and the biblical God and you don't. So you're looking for a moral license to kill them, and you're looking for a immoral narrative that gives you the fake legality to destroy them and massacre them. So you reframe them and create a new narrative where you have demonized them based on lies. This is very dangerous. And any person listening, if you allow this to continue, then you are no better than anybody who was silent when the Jews were demonized in Germany and they were programmed to the masses to be rats and destroyers, etc. Your silence is paving the way for great destruction.
Hey, Frank.
Sure, Dan.
Now, the Jews were like 70% of the population of Germany during the 1930s, right?
I don't think that's true.
Approximately 70%. Is that about right?
I don't know. I don't think
70
so.
to 80, up in that range somewhere?
I think that's probably a stretch.
You don't think so?
I think it's a stretch to say that it was... But it was that. I mean, it was high, but it wasn't that high.
Because I feel like for this metaphor to work, for this warning to be of any validity at all, you kind of got to have the numbers right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, because here's where he's correct. You and I and our media empire, we do sometimes mock and demonize the Christians.
Yeah.
We've been known to do that.
Yes, absolutely.
Guys like this, we do that.
Yes.
We totally mock them.
Yes.
And demonize them.
Must mean that he's just like the Jews in Nazi Germany.
You and I are Nazi propagandists, Frank. It's no different.
Yeah.
It's no different whatsoever.
I think calling out the powerful, or at least the people who are in the majority,
right?
That's a little different.
Might be a little different.
Just a little different.
Also, apparently, we don't believe in the Constitution. He believes in the Constitution, not us.
I know.
I love that. He's the real patriotit. Did you catch that? He said patriotits.
Yeah.
He was talking about the patriotits.
Oh, yeah. I mean, who doesn't want to be a patriotit?
Well, he definitely does want to be one. Hey, we had some people write into us.
Did indeed.
I will now be reading their stuff. This one's from Lauren in Vermont, who says, "Hi, Frank and Dan. Thank you for your conversation about maintaining a sense of awe while being an atheist. I hadn't heard about Oprah's comment to Diana Nyad, and I agree it was whack. What really bothers me is when people try to shut down atheism by claiming that other things are God, like a sense of awe, the universe, consciousness, a sense of connection, blah, blah, blah. No, those are real things that exist, and you can experience separate from the idea of God." That's true.
Yeah.
I think she's right about that.
Yeah. Yep.
I find awe and amazement in the natural world all the time. The beauty of nature, the biodiversity of wildlife, the improbability of evolution.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it's totally probable. It happens. Evolution. Anyway, it makes it even more awesome to me that there was no grand designer. That all of this, every cell and particle, in every forest, ocean, canyon, mountain, river, snake, bird, monkey, and microbe all rise from nothingness. The endlessly intricate and complex world of nature, not to mention the human brain and all that humankind has created, cities, medicine, the internet, all of that with no God and no plan. And you say we have no awe? Believing in an all-powerful being that created everything, that's the easy way out.
Yep.
Looking at the science and research that has described our natural world from the origins of time to the outmost reaches of the universe, that is awesome.
Yep.
Thanks for writing in, Lauren. That's
fantastic.
A lovely sentiment. On the other side of the same conversation, Rose wrote into us.
Oh, no. Okay.
Dear Frank and Dan, or Dan and Frank, in case Dan gets upset that I'm not using his name first. Oh, no, it's fine. I know that you love me more. It's okay. To keep this short, I've been an atheist for life. Another thing I've been for life? Someone who is easily awed. As a youngster, I would look up at the sky and just stare for hours. As a teenager, I loved to have entire conversations about the universe. I once bought into the whole 2012 end times the Mayans predicted with lines and dots thing because I speculated that aliens would land on Earth, but obviously they would pass us by because they found no intelligent life. But as I grow older, I find my awe being diminished. I find that when a news story like law to protect nature is repealed comes on TV, I become cynical and sort of hateful about nature. All I can think is how humans have fucked up this beautiful planet. All for what? Shiny toys we can kill people with? Because let's face it, humans are incredibly talented at killing each other. Anyway, how can I quote unquote renew my awe for nature and whatever exploding stars look pretty in the universe whenever I become this way? Keep up the good work. Also, and we'll talk about this. I'm going to put a pin in this.
Okay.
She says, also, Dan, 4 stars on the show. JK, I gave it 5. Sincerely, Rose. We're going to get back to that, Rose.
Yeah.
It's a cute joke, but we're going to get back to it. But I get where she's coming from.
Mm-hmm.
The idea that, I mean, it can be pretty depressing when you read the news.
It's easy to get jaded and cynical.
It's easy to get lost in the depressive, the sorrow that comes with it. I can tell you what I do. My answer to all of that, all of the shit that humans do and whatever. Like, I don't let this lead me into inaction, but I modify my view of humanity. The truth is that humanity, for me, is just part of the ecosystem. It's we're a species that is very effective, but we're also kind of dumb.
Yeah,
and we are, we're the smartest of the species in some ways, and yet we destroy things without meaning to, and that's part of nature too. We're just part of nature as well, and nature is this big, amazing thing. The universe is this big, amazing thing, and if we blow ourselves and everything else up, something will spring up after us. It's
Maybe.
not that, I mean, I want us to do better, and so I make sure that I am supporting ways that humans can I'm always looking for ways for humans to do better. But, if we destroy things, we're just dumb critters, just like every other dumb critter. We kill each other, other species kill each other. It's the wonder of nature. What do you do? How do you maintain your sense of awe in the face of depressing, sad, stupid humanity?
I don't really. Sorry, Rose. No, I think it takes a little bit of a restart button sometimes of going and seeing something new, having a new experience. I mean, it's
challenging your brain.
Yeah,
Find a way.
Get out of your comfort zone. Get out of the sort of loop that you got yourself in. And that's
maybe.
What can that be? That can be
ditch the Wi-Fi for a minute. Go somewhere where you can't read the news, where you can't.
Yeah.
Where you can't re-engage that mind frame for a while.
Yeah. Well, I think that, to be honest, giving yourself a day off is always a good thing, right?
A day off from the news,
a day off from all your worries, right? Like, I work really, really, really hard on Fridays because I have Fridays and Saturdays off from work, right
now,
at the moment. And so I work really, really, really hard on Friday to get all of my other concerns, all of whatever it is, housework, all of it done so that I can enjoy Saturday.
Yeah.
Right. And have just that one day where I can care about the things that I do care about,
right,
and not worry about the things that I don't.
I just want to point
problems.
out to you.
What's that?
That you've basically just summarized the theme song from Cheers.
Go someplace where people know my name.
As I recall, it starts out, making your way in the world today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries sure can help a lot.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you like to get away?
Just because it's a theme song to Cheers doesn't mean it's not true.
No, I'm saying it's a great theme song.
They're talking about going to a bar after work.
Hey, go to a bar after work.
Which is not a bad thing, no judgment if that's what you do, right? I definitely have been known to enjoy my drink from time to time.
Yeah.
But I for me, that's how I keep myself
I love
sane.
I love it.
Right?
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I've noticed that when it's every single day, and it doesn't have to be much. It's just like, oh shit, I forgot to, for example, edit the podcast.
Right.
Right. Oh, I was supposed to do that. And it's not a big deal to edit the podcast. Right. It takes a couple hours.
Right.
I listen through it again, post it, write a little description, blah, 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 blah. But it takes a couple hours.
Sure.
If the days that has spilled on over to Saturday because my Friday was so hectic or whatever, and I somehow missed it, right? That usually means that I have a pretty bad Saturday. Also because I am fretting about it. I feel bad that I didn't post it, right? So forth and so on. So I think that having that reset day is really important. That's me. I actually take that cue from
Jesus.
Well, from growing up and seeing it not work, right?
Oh, sure.
Seeing it actually because you have this obligation on Sunday, you have all this other stuff that you have to do, and it's all these have tos on this. On a day that you're supposed to just be relaxing.
Isn't that interesting? Like, who does a day of rest worse than religious people?
It's the absolute worst.
It's so funny because, they're commanded to have a day of rest.
Yeah.
6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, and on the seventh shalt thou rest. And yet...
And they turn it into hell.
It's the worst day.
It's full of rules. You
have to go to a thing, you have to put on clothes that you don't want to wear, and you have to go to a thing, and you have to be nice to everybody, and you have to like pay attention. Oh my God, It's the worst.
Yeah. So I've taken it to be just relax, spend time with your friends. Yeah. Don't worry about it.
Go to lunch, Rose. Brunch. Do brunch, Rose.
Have a mimosa, Rose.
Get your brunch on. It's the key to life.
Dip some bacon in something
It's as close
delicious.
as I've got to a religion right now. Brunch.
But the moment that feels like an obligation, ditch it and do something else.
Do something else.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did say I was going to put a pin in it, and I'm coming back to it.
Oh, are you?
We are now at 969 ratings.
Holy shit.
On iTunes as of this recording. I didn't look up Stitcher.
Okay.
But we decided that we were going to have a goal to get to over 1,000.
Yeah.
I think we should shoot for 1,200.
I say let's hit 1,000 and give it a rest for a second.
Give it a rest. Okay.
Yeah.
All I'm doing is reminding people that we're trying to get to over 1,000 reviews on. But what I'm saying. All I'm saying is, if you see that it's over 1,000, still give us the 5-star review.
If you've arrived at iTunes,
if you're
there's
already
no
there,
reason to not.
Yeah, but yeah, it doesn't take much. It doesn't cost you anything. No, don't do the 4-star reviews, even though that's what you really want to give us. I understand. Believe me, I get it.
It's not the best podcast you listen to.
There's an honesty thing. We actually don't have enough. We don't make enough money to like do the really good production values and all the stuff.
Right.
So, I get it. But
or to make this our job either.
Right. Exactly. You know? Right. We don't do this full time because we can't. We'd love to, but we can't. So the point is, lie and give us 5 stars. It's what helps us out. You want to help your friends out.
Right.
So go ahead and give us 5 stars.
That'd be lovely. And on that note, actually, I think there's a nice segue to the Patreon campaign. We have a new donor this week coming in at, Dan, the Pope level.
What?
We have a new Pope. Pope Karen.
Pope Karen.
Pope Karen.
Oh, blessings be upon ye.
This is a Pope for the ages.
Hashtag Pontifex.
So Karen did what many others before her have done. They went to our Patreon campaign, which you can find by going to thankgodimatheist.com and clicking on the support tab.
Yeah.
And once you're there, over on the right-hand side, there's the Patreon banner. You click on that, takes you right to our campaign. Now, the reason that we run a campaign on Patreon is to help us pay for the show. And, you kind of alluded to it. If we did make more, less time could be spent on other endeavors.
Right. And more time could be spent on this,
and which I would love.
Yeah.
And so if you would like to see more from us and actually get more from us right now, you can go to the Patreon campaign, and because patrons of the show do receive
Pope Karen, for instance.
Karen, now she has access to a commercial-free version of the show.
No ads
whatsoever. And also, starting at just the venerable level, which is just the second level up, all patrons receive access to the weekly Frank and Dan diaries, or semi-weekly.
Mostly weekly.
We mostly weekly.
We're not promising every week, but we try to do it every week.
We do try to get to it every week. And I would say it is the vast majority of weeks at this point.
Yeah.
We've got a good pattern going with that. And then there are other rewards as you go up, as you climb the ladder of support. And then, of course, as always, we have our top donor to thank, our Lord and Savior.
Yeah, she's beyond Pope.
She reigns supreme.
She is
the Archangela,
an angelic being.
Angela.
Thank you so much, Angela. And please, if you feel the spirit move you, go and give us some money.
Indeed. So, Dan.
Yes, sir.
Some big news this week.
The Mormon Church.
Oh boy, Dan.
They're rich.
We knew it was true. So the real moment for me when I was like, I think they have way more money than they would ever let on, was when they built the mall downtown.
The $2 billion.
$2 billion shopping center downtown.
Right.
So let's describe this thing, Dan, because it is actually, this one detail I think sums up the entire shopping center and says, holy shit, they spent a ton of money.
Okay.
It has a retractable roof.
Yeah, there's a roof. You walk down the thing and it's indoor unless they decide it's outdoor.
so it kind of feels like a one of those Galleria type things, like you might see like in Europe,
like a domed roof over the top.
Yeah, like a glass roof,
but like an arched roof over
lets the
entire length of both sides of it. It spans 2 city blocks.
Right. And on nice days, it's just and the roof opens up.
Yeah.
And now it's bright and sunny and fresh air. And there's a creek that runs through.
Yeah. That was meant to be they would just divert some of the actual city creek that comes.
That's what it was supposed to be. Yeah.
And then they decided, but that actually, a child might get giardia or something splashing around, which they don't let them splash around. But
no, but it could happen.
Right.
It's conceivable.
But I think it's just city water.
It's recycled, I'm sure. But they probably took some.
But they've got fish in it, like trout, swimming in the mall.
And everything about it is top notch. Like just the the finest materials. They've got a big plaza with.
Look, we spared no expense. We got everything. We got stone. We got all the finishes. Whatever you want, we did it for you.
But it's also relatively tasteful. Like, it's not gilded, right? Like,
True.
They did show some restraint. But there's fountains, big, like, nice fountains. They saved a facade of a historic building that would have otherwise, you know. So, I mean, they spent some money.
Right.
And so that was kind of the first moment for me where I was like, and this was what I was thinking at the moment. What did they have to sell off in order to afford $2 billion? They didn't sell anything off.
No.
They took money out of probably their cash reserves.
That was just money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
because
you'd think that they'd have gone to other investors and brought people in. No. They wanted control over this thing.
They own that thing.
It's closed on Sundays.
Yeah.
There's no alcohol served at the restaurants.
Except for the restaurants that they sold the property that's underneath them to them.
Yeah.
Right.
They carved out some ways that people like it. But for the most part.
But there's like only 2 or 3 of those restaurants that they did that for.
And they own all of these high-rise condo buildings on the same block and stuff. They just poured money into this block.
Yeah. And so again, that's what kind of opened my eyes. Well, yesterday is when the story really broke. Mormon Leaks, which is a website that has been dedicated to procuring leaked documents from the LDS Church. There have been some interesting ones that we've talked about on the show.
Yes.
This one came out, and then they did some reporting on it. They actually did some research, and in order to like expand upon the story and verify a lot of the details. And so it has been announced that the LDS Church is connected to at least $32 billion in U.S. stocks.
And that's just the domestic stuff.
That's just the domestic stocks, and that's just what this leak told us about.
Was able to find.
Now, in this leak, there were 13 companies mentioned that the holdings are divided up between those companies.
Right.
Every single one of those companies has, as a business manager, somebody who works at the church office building. So a church employee is the business manager of each one of these companies.
Sure.
And also all of the domain names, all the domains for these companies are hosted by LDS Church servers.
Okay.
The same servers that host LDS.org and Mormon.org.
Right.
And all of them were registered on the same day, July 21st, 2016.
Oh, wow.
And there's also, they looked at specifically the IP addresses as well that are associated with these websites.
Sure.
And they are all linked to church-owned computers and whatnot. And all of this has been able to be substantiated due to prior leaks.
Right.
Like, for example, they had the names of these church employees because they had a church employee roster, directory, whatever. So this does a few things for any observer of the LDS Church. The very first thing that sprang to my mind was the $40 million figure. Which is the amount of charitable donations they
love to brag about.
Brag about.
Every year we give $40 million.
$40 million in charitable donations. When they hold at least $32 billion in stocks. Now, it's just $32 billion in stocks.
Right.
This is not all their property holdings, which are massive.
Right.
We know that they hold huge land. Or that they own huge ranches throughout the United States.
Right.
apparently in Florida, they just own a shit ton of the state. I don't know why.
Like a percentage of the state.
Yeah.
Of the entire landmass of the state.
Yeah.
They just sort of own.
They own interests in Canada, up in Canada.
Yeah.
They own
Australia.
big massive land holdings in Australia, Mexico, apparently also the UK.
They got some stuff in the UK.
We
don't, and the thing is, like, we can't represent like we know what these things are. This is from other.
These are things that have all been linked to them,
right? So it's like hard for us to actually put our finger on what.
Well, because they've set the entire thing up in such a way as to conceal and hide what their holdings are and how vast they are.
Yeah, they haven't actually revealed what their net worth is.
No.
Since the 50s.
No.
Or whatever. And they used to do it.
Used to be
it used to be part of
annually.
Their annual they would have at their general conference, they would say to their members who are, the ostensible owners of the organization, the members.
Yeah, one would think.
They would say, "Hey, here's how much money the church has. Here's how the church is spending it. Here's how we're doing."
Right.
They don't do that no more.
No, they don't. Just like in this last general session, or this just last general conference, they announced that they were no longer going to be releasing membership numbers.
Oh,
and there's an interesting parallel there.
Yeah,
they stopped talking about their finances in a year when their finances were doing really poorly.
Right.
So they've also decided to stop talking about their membership numbers because there's been a lot of observers of the LDS Church are also keen to point out that the numbers are largely inflated. If you just sort of examine them, and anybody who knows anything about the Mormon community and their retention rates, their activity rates, anything like that, this 16 million number, I think, 14, 16, mid-teens of millions
of members
that they're reporting right now. That's a stretch.
It's beyond a stretch, because here's the thing: when you see like good scientific studies done of self-reporting,
right,
the numbers do not match up.
Right, exactly.
So the LDS Church, I mean, what they're doing is I get it. It's fair. They're saying anyone who was baptized into our church or who we can count as a member who hasn't taken their name off of our rolls, who hasn't gone out of their way, we count them.
My guess is, as far as the official count is concerned, they're not actually ever taking numbers away from it. That's my guess.
Even people who have taken their names off the rolls?
That's my guess.
I'm guessing
it's a gut feeling.
I feel like they do take the names off the rolls, because the number of people, the percentage of people who actually like remove their name, who care enough to do that, is tiny.
It's pretty small.
You and I have done it, but like it's such a small thing.
But there is
you go to you talk to somebody like our friend Doug, who went on a Mormon mission to Honduras and like baptized the shit out of people.
Right.
Just dozens and dozens of people. But do you think any of them are still practicing?
Right.
No.
Right.
No, but the Mormon Church is counting them.
Right.
None of them have gone out of their way to like take their name off the membership rolls. They were just like, oh wait, we can't drink. Oh wait, we can't smoke. Oh wait, we have to go to 3 hours of church. Fuck this, never mind.
Right.
I was kidding.
Right. Anyway, the point is, though, that they have this need to look good on paper.
Yeah.
But they didn't want to look this good on paper.
Yeah.
And so they have concealed all of this from their members, from the general public. They do not want people to know how much wealth they have. And here's a few tidbits, right?
Yeah.
For example, we now know that they are the largest single stockholder in Apple.
Holy shit.
Which makes
Apple computers.
Yes.
That's one of the biggest corporations on the planet.
Yes.
It's like one of the most important.
Yeah. And they have more stock than Tim Cook. They own a shit ton of that company.
Yeah.
Right. Apparently, I saw this only in one place, so I will just say it with that caveat. Apparently, they also own stock in Victoria's Secret, which is just embarrassing for them.
Yeah,
it's hypocritical. Considering how much over the pulpit they are willing to wind up their members about pornography and the fact that a woman shouldn't show her shoulders. There's this whole thing on Reddit and online in ex-Mormon communities about porn shoulders.
Well, and Mormons prescribe what underwear their people wear.
Yeah, exactly.
And it ain't that.
No, it's not.
It ain't thong panties from Vicky's.
Right. But it is ironic.
Yeah.
You know,
it's super ironic
because they sell their members' underwear.
Although the ladies could buy bras from Victoria's Secret,
but they'd have to wear it over
your garments because
what?
Gross.
There's not supposed to be nothing between you and your garments.
Right. That's weird.
And you know, one just has to then ask themselves, what are they doing with all of it?
Yeah.
What are they doing with all this money?
Here's the thing.
Aside from, you know, fighting against gay rights, fighting against marijuana initiatives, like they have their secret little fights, and I'm sure if they're this good,
but they're not spending anything on it now that we know what they have.
Like they're not spending a large portion of it.
No,
but they are doing it.
They
have the money,
and they don't have to think twice about it.
And also, let's face it, like the way that like money can secretly be passed around in politics now.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Sure.
What they're doing and how far their political influence is reaching at this point.
Oh, if they want to, they could exert not only, I mean, yeah, they have a stranglehold on politics here in the state of Utah, but they exert that just by putting the thumb onto the members of our, you know, the vast majority of our politicians are all LDS.
Right.
So they just put the thumb on them that way. They don't have to spend a dime.
They just threaten their temple recommend.
Or just
that's all they have to do.
Or just say, they don't have to threaten anything. They just say, well, this is how the church feels. And then they just, you know, snap to.
Right. Because they know that the underlying message is we have our way of getting back at you.
Well, or just you're being evil if you don't do what we say.
We're talking about politics. These people don't care about being evil.
That's true. But they can also say, you know, we can talk to, you know, all of the major donors in the state are also LDS, and we can exert influence over them. But they, if they wanted to, could exert massive amounts of influence over the national, over national politics. Massive.
Yeah.
Like in ways the Koch brothers like could dream of. You know what I mean? Like, the Koch brothers could do it too. They've got that kind of money.
Yeah.
But like, yeah.
That's the LDS Church, folks.
That's the
corporate church.
That's the Lord's doing the Lord's work. The other thing is, I don't think they're coming anywhere. They're just amassing this wealth. They're not spending it. I mean, they're spending bits of it here and there, but man, what do they need all this money for? This is the same church that just a few weeks ago, like the fucking president of it was telling poor Africans that they have to keep giving their tithing.
Right. This is the same church that calls people to be janitors at their chintzy Motel 6 styled chapels.
Right.
Right. Like
rather than paying them a decent wage to clean their fucking meeting houses
and hiring a good architect.
Yeah. Honestly, this is
like you don't have to build with cinder block.
I mean, I've often thought about the fact that they're hemorrhaging members in the first world. You know, in wealthy countries, they are just losing people left and right. And they're gaining in the third world. In poor countries, they're gaining people, but they're losing them left and right in places where they could actually make tithing money, where tithing money would actually make a dent.
Right.
They're losing people.
Right.
And I've often thought, well, this is going to be problematic for them at some point.
Clearly not.
Nope. Because they're a business.
Right.
And they're good at business.
Yeah.
And they've got this, and it just seems like the religion is kind of a hobby. It's kind of a side thing that
now.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird though?
Yeah.
That like
they
don't even need the membership now. Like the higher ups of the church could just walk away.
Yeah, just boil it down to one member. It's me. I'm the member of the church. Give me my money.
The last one standing.
Yeah.
That's a
There you go.
concept for you.
All right. Well, if you, ladies and gentlemen, have any theories as to why the LDS Church is amassing so much wealth, go ahead and write into us, podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or call and leave us a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Correct. Go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist, and click that like button.
And while you're there, why not search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge and request to join? It is a closed group, but we'll let you in.
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
Hey, speaking of Facebook, thanks so much to Mackenzie for all of her amazing work on the Facebook page. Still just rocking it out. And thanks so much to Sarah, Danny, and Amy for their work as moderators in the Members Only Lounge.
And a big thanks goes out to the Red Rock Hot Club, and also to Gordon Johnston for the use of their music.
Yeah, thanks to our patrons. Thanks to those who have given us the 5-star reviews on the various Sunday things. And thank you, kids, for tuning in. We sure do appreciate you.
Bye-bye.